Hello everybody and welcome. For this video I'm going to go over everything you need to know to make sublimation shirts, whether you just want to make them for yourself, for gifts for other people that you know, or to start selling them. First thing you got to do if you want to make sublimation shirts is you got to be able to make the designs. So for that there's two softwares that I use that you could choose from. There is Photoshop. It's there's a fee with that one. I pay about $80 a month. There is an annual fee which will make you save a bit, but it is quite expensive. The other software that I use is Cricut Design Space. The program that runs my Cricut over there. That has a fee as well. It's $12 a month, something like that. I'm not 100% sure. I put the price of how much I pay every month right here. Those are the two programs that I use, Cricut Design Space and Photoshop. Next thing you're going to need if you use Cricut Design Space is you're going to need a Cricut. There are several different Cricuts to choose from. There's the Cricut Venture, which is new, quite expensive. There's the Cricut Maker, and I think the Cricut Maker 3. I think there's two different kinds of Cricut Makers. There's the Cricut Explorer, the Cricut Explorer 2, and the Cricut Explorer 3, I believe. I use the Cricut Explorer 2, which is an awesome Cricut. Works good. I will eventually upgrade to the Cricut Maker because it cuts through metal, which I think is useful. I want to get into engraving, which is making me need to upgrade to the Cricut Maker, but I'm in no rush for that. So back to sublimation. So you're going to need, if you're using Cricut Design Space for your designing, you're going to need the Cricut to be able to cut it out and print it and cut it out. If you're using Photoshop, you don't need a cutter at all. You can just run it through your printer. And speaking of printers, that's how we're going to get into the next bit. For sublimation, you need a sublimation printer. For a sublimation printer, there are several different models to choose from. I use an Epson. Epson's pretty much the best choice because it has an eco tank where it comes, you add the ink to it. It comes with bottles to refill the tank, which is the kind of printer that you're going to need. You're going to need to buy an eco tank printer, but you're not going to be using the ink that comes with it. What you're going to do is you're going to buy some sublimation ink. Now there's a variety to choose from. I use the Hippo brand. I think the colors are great. It works amazing, sublimates well. That's what I go with. Where you can go to get these products are optional places. You can go to your local Walmart, Superstore, all them places usually sell printers. I got my printers from Walmart, but you can get them on Amazon and a bunch of other sites online. And I ordered the sublimation ink that I use. I ordered that off of Amazon. Another thing you're going to need is sublimation paper. That is special paper for your sublimation ink. You're going to be printing your designs out with the sublimation ink on the sublimation paper. That's going to give you the best sublimation products. Once you get your sublimation ink, you're going to then put that in your printer instead of the ink that comes with it. It's important when buying sublimation ink that you match up the model number of your sublimation printer so that the bottles fit into your sublimation printer to be able to add the ink to them. If you would like to see me setting up my sublimation printer, you can either click up here or you can go down to the description and I'll put the link down there. It shows you how to add the ink to the sublimation printer when you first get your printer. It's important to get a brand new printer because it can't have regular ink have already been run through it. It will ruin your sublimation projects. Sublimating products takes pure sublimation ink. It is special ink that is heat infused into whatever you're putting your sublimation design on. That's why it's important to have a fresh printer and putting just sublimation ink in it. That's why I have two printers. One for regular ink, so for all my other projects, for making stickers, for printing out schoolwork, all that stuff, all the other uses I use my regular printer for. And I got a sublimation printer specifically for my sublimation projects. Another thing you're going to need is heat tape or a special spray that holds down the paper against your sublimation blank. For when you run it through the press, it presses properly and doesn't move and smear and cause a double image while pressing. And speaking of pressing, the most important thing you're going to need is a heat press. There are so many different types of heat presses to choose from. There's little heat presses, the handheld ones, and there's heat presses where you got to pull the lever and press it down. I do recommend that you use a heat press where you've got to pull it and press it down. Those heat presses, they give you the best results. It ensures that you do a good press against your shirt. It presses it down evenly throughout the whole design, and it presses it right into the shirt. So once you have all your materials, the process for making sublimation shirts is coming up with the design and making it in the software that you choose. And once you've got it all made, you're going to print it out. If you've made it through Cricut Design Space, you're going to cut it out, or at least cut the 4 corners with the print and cut feature. You're going to cut those off because you don't want to sublimate 4 corners on your shirt. Once you have that done, you're going to tape it onto the shirt and run it through your heat press. After you run it through your heat press, you're going to have your beautiful shirt that you're going to either wear yourself, like I have this one on right here. You can make shirts and gift them to people that you care about. Like I've made shirts for my mother and stepfather for their birthdays and holidays and stuff like that. You can, and another thing you can do if you choose is you can come up with designs and you can sell them. There's a variety of places to sell shirts. I would also like to mention, this is very important, I would also like to mention that you can't sublimate on anything. Sublimation ink will only work on, for shirts, on 100% polyester. If you sublimate on cotton, it's going to wash out within the first or second wash. That's why you can't sublimate on cotton. Another thing is it needs to be on white, because there is no white in sublimation ink, so it won't print white. Sublimation ink tends to absorb in dark colors, so that's why it's important to have it on white. I have sublimated on gray and green polyester shirts, but it was an all black design, and black somehow didn't absorb into the shirt. The color didn't disappear. Any other colors on the design and it would have disappeared or been very, very dull. So it's important to have white 100% polyester shirts if you're going to be making sublimation shirts. There are ways to sublimate on dark colors and black and cotton. I have done hacks on how to sublimate on cotton. You need a few extra products for that. I have done hacks on sublimating on a variety of different things if you want to check those out. I have a sublimation playlist if you want to check that out. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you have any questions, leave them down below in the comment section and I'll try my best to answer them. And I hope you guys have an awesome day. Happy creating, everybody.